second overtime.
Oh, that's 6 on Giannis.
We are back looking at last night's action in the Eastern Conference Finals and more. In sneaky Hembo time, the question is who owns the record for most points per game against the Bucks in a playoff series? The answer is not Kawhi Leonard, who's averaging almost 33 a game in this series. To try and give it a go, well, there it is. There's the answer. So we did not even, we let Jalen Rose off the hook. We were going to put him on the ropes and see if he could get it. The answer is Michael Jordan, who averaged almost 37 against them in the first round in 1990. And there's the happiest man in the world, because he would have gotten it wrong for sure. The one, the only Jalen Rose, who's live in Portland with us. How are you, Jay?
Good morning.
Good morning. So a million things I want to get to with you. Let's start quickly in the East there last night, where we saw the Raptors do an outstanding job of just shutting down the Greek Freak. Giannis scored just 12 points last night and then fouls out of the game, and the free throws became a big topic of conversation here. What did you see last night from the Greek Freak, who we are seemingly ready to anoint as the next greatest player in the NBA?
I want to give Toronto a lot of credit. It's one word that doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. They played with more effort. They did a terrific job of shrinking the floor, making him play in the crowd, forcing him to be a passer. Kawhi Leonard did a terrific job of giving extra effort plays. Pascal Siakam fed off the home crowd, played a terrific game on their home floor. Marc Gasol finally showed up, made a couple of shots, made his presence felt. Serge Ibaka gave him some good minutes. The chess move of playing Norman Powell a lot more minutes continues to pay off for the Toronto Raptors. So it was a collective effort by that team to slow down the Greek Freak, and he never really found himself into a rhythm and ultimately ended up fouling out of the game.
So they were able to do, Toronto was able to do on Sunday night what the Trailblazers were not able to do Saturday night in our series, the Western Conference Finals, as you were there, and that is serve at home and try and turn this into a series. And one of the things we were talking about earlier this morning, Jalen, is, Portland gets these big leads. They had a huge lead in this game in the second quarter. The Warriors have the ability to hit teams with runs that maybe no team in NBA history has ever been able to do before. What, if anything, could Portland have done when Golden State went crazy in that third quarter to keep what happened from happening?
Draymond Green and his tempo. You're not going to beat the Golden State Warriors if you can't upset Draymond Green. You got to force him to work defensively. You got to try to frustrate him. You got to keep him in actions, especially without Kevin Durant and DeMarcus Cousins. You need to force him to use those fouls. And if you look up front, Myers Leonard played a really good first half. Collins has not been able to play consistent quality minutes. When they go small, they try to use Harkless. But those guys can't make Draymond Green work really hard defensively because they're not featured players. They're not going to initiate offense. They're not going to get him in foul trouble. And so therefore, all of a sudden, he gets into attack mode. He gets to score the basketball, grab boards. He was a Swiss Army knife for the Golden State Warriors the entire game. And even though they were losing, he still played with a fire. He still played with a tempo that allowed Klay to wake up, that allowed Steph to wake up, and allowed Quinn Cook to even wake up. And that allowed the Golden State Warriors to now go up 3-0. And unfortunately for the fans of Portland, when I get done with this interview, I'm going to buy a Wally's broom because I do feel that they're going to get swept. So don't get surprised. Don't act mad. I've been doing this for almost a decade. It is not personal.
Now, we can all see it coming, and Jalen will be sweeping the Blazers out of the playoffs tonight. You'll see the game on ESPN. Help me with one other thing also, because I've had RJ and Jay Will yelling at each other all morning long, and I can't control this thing for the life of me. How much, in your eyes, how much of what we are seeing from Draymond in this series, where he is, again, commanding the ball, running the offense, facilitating it through him, and playing the style of ball that made him into an all-star, how much of that do you think is attributable to the fact that Kevin Durant is not on the floor?
Well, first off, reflection starts with being your best version. And if you look at Draymond Green this entire season, he didn't play like an all-star. He wasn't the guy that was the best defender in the league. He did gain 30 pounds. He was not healthy the entire year. Now, all of a sudden, as the playoffs have approached, he's gotten himself in better shape. He's gotten more opportunities with KD off the floor. I think he sacrificed the most. If you look at the dynamics of their team, he was always a guy that had the ball up front, led the team in assists, was a big-time playmaker and allowed Steph and Klay to play off the ball. When you insert KD, now all of a sudden you're posting him up on the elbow. You're posting him up mid-range. You're featuring him. When DeMarcus Cousins come in the game, you want to give him the ball on duck ends. You want to give him the ball on the post. And Draymond Green became a spot-up shooter. Without them in the game, now all of a sudden he gets to play like his old self, and you can tell that he's really thriving at that opportunity.
All right, Jalen, I'm sorry to do this to you, but guys, can we bring this out to the table? Because as he is saying this, you're taking RJ's side of this argument. And the smug look on the face of Richard Jefferson, just staring down Jay Will here.
I'm looking at Jay, I'm like, wait, Jay, is your IFB
Can I ask Jay Wills a question?
Wait,
Can I ask Jay Wills?
no, will you wait a second? Can you wait a second? Can you wait a second? I was like,
That's like 5 seconds.
Jalen, I was like, yo, is your IFB in? Can you hear this? Are you listening to this great man, Jalen Rose, talk?
I understand, but I think he answered for both of us because he also said that Draymond lost 30 pounds. Draymond wasn't defensively great. It's an indictment on Draymond too, just not only Kevin Durant. That's my point.
I've never said it's all, but he has sacrificed more than anyone. That he was injured. And
That was never the argument to begin with, though,
in
RJ.
much better shape. I
RJ
agree.
was never about who sacrificed more.
All right, let me bring Jalen back in there. Jay Will was also this weekend.
Deontay Wilder.
He was at the fight. Jalen was at the fight on Sunday. Goes for the sweep against Portland. It's on ESPN. It's on ESPN Deportes. Game 4. And again, Jalen will have the Walis. Our coverage tips off at 8 with NBA Countdown. It's all streaming live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Meanwhile, I want to give you a live look at our green room because this is pretty good. That's Tyson Fury. On the right of your screen, that's Magic Johnson, as though you need to be told that. On the left of your screen, and Stephen A. Smith holding court between them. They're all on their way in the next 45 minutes or so here on ESPN.
He's the same size.
With us.
Can we get Pelinka and Johnson in the ring together?
Oh, wow.